Welcome in, everyone. We are going to put the theory to the test of doing the show by ourselves. My co-hosts are nowhere to be found. So I will take your questions here and we'll go for kind of as long as I can. I appreciate anyone in the audience. And let me know in the comments how I sound. Usually I ask my co-hosts to do a sound check, but there are no co-hosts present at this moment. So I will take your questions. I have some opening segments to discuss. And we'll have to see. We will have to see. But let's jump into the questions we got right here. So what's up, guys? Just me, apparently. Got a couple questions today. I appreciate your help as always. Dynasty full PPR team is 2-5. Trade away CeeDee Lamb. Get Tony Pollard, Devon A-Chain, and tank Dell. So it's very interesting. CeeDee Lamb I have dropped to my Dynasty wide receiver 4 behind Amon-Ra and, of course, Jefferson and Chase. Pollard, I've got at running back 9. And then we have A-Chain, I have at running back 7. And Dell, I've got down at wide receiver 42. So, which is actually kind of low. It feels kind of low. But with that said, I think that I'm going to stick with the one high-end wide receiver asset here in CeeDee Lamb. It is a relatively fair trade. I'm going to say it's relatively fair, but if it's relatively fair, I probably want the one over the 3 things. Generally, that's a good process. If the trade is fair, you want the one asset. Is Josh Downs a viable starter in redraft non-PPR formats going forward? Well, non-PPR definitely hurts him. And I would say, yes, you can start him. In half PPR, I don't really rank non-PPR. In half PPR, I'm wide receiver 39 this week. A decent ranking against New Orleans, not my favorite matchup. But with no teams on bye, wide receiver 39. So you take that with what you will. Viable in some weeks in good matchups, yes. This week, not so much. Another question here. So a start sit question. And I do have the start sit question rankings ready. I do have them. But it's Tuesday. So if you ask me a start set question on Tuesday, just be aware that the rankings update throughout the week. If you want to get the full rankings, you can sign up for the Patreon at patreon.com/fantasyadvice, where you can get the rankings there as they update. No need to ask. I mean, of course, you can always ask. On the Patreon Discord, a way to ask me questions, which is always wonderful. But the rankings are there. With that being said, Darrell Henderson, Deonta Foreman, or Najee Harris. Interesting. I actually have these guys all very similar. For now, I have Deonta Foreman the highest. I think Roschon Johnson is going to come back. But for now, I have Deonta Foreman the highest at running back 25. So actually, I have Henderson at 26 and Najee at 28. So they're all very, very close. We're going to get some updates throughout the week. But for now, that is how I rank it. So as I am by myself, I will be doing my best to... I'm kind of losing my voice, of course, more inconveniences. But that's okay. We will persevere. As I post the YouTube link under the Twitter stream or whatever I'm doing there. We're going to persevere through that. And I'm just going to do the best I can. Bear with me if I'm going a little slower than normal because I don't get anyone to give me a breather. So let's move on to my opening segment. So as a lot of people know, Chris Olave was arrested for speeding. There was a video. And I have had some questions. People are talking about it. Is this a big deal? The answer is no. I think I learned my lesson from the Jordan Addison situation of and that was a much bigger deal, much higher rate of speed and all that. I'm not concerned. Is it Ideal? No. I still ranked him normally in this week, even if start sit. I don't expect him to miss any time. I'm more concerned about the poor play of Derek Carr than anything else when it comes to Chris Olave. And that's more of a problem, is Derek Carr's poor play. So Derek Carr needs to get his act together, and he needs to realize that Chris Olave is the best receiver on this team. And they need to fix whatever problem was occurring during the Jacksonville game. There were problems. I think we could all see that there were problems. There was screaming, there was yelling, there were issues. And we don't like issues. So hopefully that can get corrected. But as for the value of Chris Olave, honestly, this is a buying opportunity if people are panicking. I'm not going to panic on a young wide receiver who's shown elite traits in the NFL. We can't do that. Let's move into the next question. And I do appreciate people asking questions. Today, the show, since apparently I'm by myself, the show will go as long as the questions dictate the show should go. So if you have a question, ask it as soon as possible, because I have no idea how long the show is going to go. So Kevin says that I sound good. I appreciate that. I try my best to sound the best that I can. Okay. What is Tank Dell's value? So I mentioned him offhand earlier that I have him at wide receiver 42 in Dynasty. I would say that I would pay a random 2024 second for him, and probably not more than that. What do you want back for Adam Thielen? So Adam Thielen is already 33. He has no value beyond this year in Dynasty. So and it's very possible. I mean, Adam Thielen was such a late round draft pick that it's very possible that you had Adam Thielen on a team that's not very good, and you just happen to have him. So I would say I'd like a second. It's probably not going to happen. Maybe you could combine Thielen and a third for a second. You could potentially do that. That's probably the most likely thing. Next, I would try for 2/3. If you can't do any of that, then you can't do it. But if I'm 2-5 or 1-6, I'll take a third if I have to. Once you get to a point, right? And we are at that point where, and I did this with one of my own teams today. You get to a point of you realize that your path to making the playoffs is very thin. If you're 2-5, we're in a league where half the teams make the playoffs. Your path is thin. So what matters is what is worth more on January 15th? Adam Thielen or a third-round pick? Probably a third-round pick. So you get to a point of where you have to do something like that. Jordan Addison. Well, he played very well. That's my thoughts on Jordan Addison. He had 7 catches, 123, and 2 touchdowns on 10 targets. He is taking advantage of Justin Jefferson being out. He is stepping up. And I love to see it. So Jordan Addison, I've moved up to wide receiver 12 in Dynasty. Now, in Dynasty, I kind of see it a certain way. So let's explain how I see the wide receivers in Dynasty at this point. And I picked a bad day to have a sore throat, but it is what it is. So Chase and Jefferson are 1 and 2. They are above everyone else. Then I kind of have a trio of what I would call maybe a duo. Amon-Ra and CeeDee Lamb are 3 and 4. They're not even 24 years old. They're 24 and 23. They're alphas. They're doing great. Very young alpha players. They're 3 and 4. Then I have Garrett Wilson at 5. Garrett Wilson is a total alpha. He's just stuck with a bad quarterback for now. But he's getting all the usage of a high-end wide receiver 1 in fantasy. So I have Garrett Wilson at 5 because he's even younger than the other two, and I think he's elite. Then A.J. Brown I have at 6, just because he's already 26. But he's still in the tier because he's going to produce more than Garrett Wilson, Lamb, and maybe not Amon-Ra, but Garrett Wilson and Lamb. A.J. Brown will produce a little bit more, but he's a little bit older. So I have him a little bit lower, but he's still in the tier. Those are the top 6. Then I kind of get to the next group, and they all have a lot in common. You have Chris Olave, Brandon Ayuk, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, Devonta Smith, Jordan Addison, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, and Puka Nacua. They're all kind of a group. They're all showing either they have a very good track record of good production, Ayuk, Waddle, and Higgins. And Smith as well. Or they're a rookie who's looking very strong. It's in JSN now and Nacua. Or they're Chris Olave, who's really talented. So that's a big grouping. And then, I have Jordan Addison ahead of guys like Drake London and Zay Flowers because I just feel like Jordan Addison has shown more than those guys in less time. So I like Jordan Addison a lot is the takeaway. 10 team, 1 QB, half PPR, Diggs and Burrow or A-Rich and the 24-101. Well, I guess I would lean the 24-101. It'll be worth by far the most in a 1 QB once the season is over. But I'm just a lean. We'll go that way. In Dynasty, thoughts on Roschon Johnson? I would like it if Roschon Johnson could get on the field. I think that we see what D'Onta Foreman is doing in this offense. There's a lot of potential here. There's a lot of potential. So if Roschon Johnson can come in and play well, I think he has a lot of potential. But now that D'Onta Foreman has kind of stolen the spotlight for a little bit, he has to kind of take the starting job back. So we'll see. We will see. I do still think, though, and this has not changed, and it's why I don't have Roschon Johnson ranked that high. Remember that he only has 4th-round draft capital. So, in my opinion, the Bears' 2024 starting running back is not currently on their roster. I do not think that Roschon Johnson is going to be the one next year. So, that's why I'm not overly in on him. Fred says, been enjoying the 5 takeaways video each week. I appreciate that. Of course, if you're here, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And check out my other content, including the 5 takeaways video. It is great. I love doing the 5 takeaways video. It's a great way to do takeaways in a short format. I like having these live group shows. The rest of my co-hosts are nowhere to be found. So this is a little tough for me. But I love the 5 takeaways video. I love doing my my videos. I've had a good time with videos. I'm going to work on some video editing. It's been a project that's kind of been in the back of my mind, but it's just tough to do it on the fly in season. So, but yeah, if you're enjoying this, make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe to the channel. Especially subscribe. It's been so hard for me to get subscriber growth. So, any support is really meaningful. It's really meaningful. YouTube's hard. It's hard. The algorithm's hard. And I am doing the best I can. But, every little bit of support helps. So just keep that in mind. Dynasty 1 QB trade offer Goff or Rashad White. I like Goff, but he's replaceable. I'll take Rashad White. It's harder to find running backs. Videos are awesome. Love that format. Thank you. I love that format too. That's why I keep doing it. It's a good format for me to get my takes out there. Also answer the Patreon questions. It's a good format. I enjoy it. So always easier to do something when you have passion for it. Puka Nacua or Devonta Smith, half PPR. So Puka Nacua has probably showed more upside. I will lean for now on the slightly superior, longer track record of Devonta Smith. But that is open to change. That is open to change. But they're in the same tier in Dynasty. Do I think Gus Edwards is the starter in Baltimore? Gus Edwards is the starter in Baltimore right now. There's no doubt about that for me. He's the starter well ahead of Justice Hill. Keaton Mitchell, who I thought was going to come on and maybe challenge for some work, he suffered a severe hamstring injury, so he's not going to be a part of anything anytime soon. I think he's going to go on IR. Edwards had 14 carries and a catch compared to Hill, 4 carries and a catch. So Edwards' catch went for 80 yards. So, yeah, Edwards is the starter. Oh, thank you. I always love it when everyone's watching. Okay. Is 2-5 enough to pull the plug for the next year, for the year and prepare for the next? I would say yes. if you're 2-5, generally in most dynasty leagues, there's a couple of teams trying to lose, right? There's a couple of teams tanking. So you're usually going to have a team that's 0-14 or 1-13, minimal wins. What that means is that the average of the teams trying to win, usually 9 to 10 teams are trying to win, is higher. So usually 7-7 is not enough to get in the playoffs in Dynasty, assuming it's a 12-team league where 6 teams make the playoff. So I would say if you go to 2-5, I am comfortable in that regular 12-team format of pulling the plug. 3-4, I still think there's a good, going 5-2 is not impossible. But if you're at 2-5, I'm not saying sell every player on your roster. That's not always the way to rebuild, but especially sell your running backs, because one injury to a running back and they lose a lot of their value. Whereas the same is not true of a wide receiver or a quarterback. Anthony Richardson is out for the year and he has lost maybe 5 overall spots, not 5 quarterback spots, 5 overall spots in Superflex Dynasty. Whereas if the same thing happened to Jonathan Taylor, he would lose probably 2 or 3 rounds of value. So, and running backs get injured more than quarterbacks. So I would just say, you don't have to sell everyone. Focus on selling running backs and older players. Players you don't want to take into 2024. 24-year-old wide receiver, no need to sell Zay Flowers. No need to sell Chris Olave. What would you estimate? Sorry about that. What would you estimate is Kupp's value in Dynasty if you were trading him? Good question. It's a good question, and I do suggest people ask some more questions because, the show's not going to be that long without them. I would say Kupp is worth, would I give up a 2024 first for him? If it were late in a contender, if I had to, I would. If I'm trading him away, anything less than 2024 first is not enough. I'd probably take it if I had to. If it was that or nothing, I'd probably take a 2024 first, even if it looks like it's going to be really late. Is T. Higgins a buy low? Yes. T. Higgins is good. People just don't like that he does this thing where he's injured and plays and then doesn't score a lot of fantasy points. People would, if he just sat out those games, his value would be higher. But people are mad because they played him and they got burned. So, yes, T. Higgins is a buy low because he's kind of infuriated people. But I think that opposition to him is mostly emotional. I don't think there's real opposition to T. Higgins' talent. And I do think that T. Higgins is a NFL wide receiver 1. He would be a wide receiver 1 on a majority of NFL teams. So, yeah, I would say he is a buy low. He's only 24. He turned 25 in January. He's not old. Okay. So, I caught up on the questions. I'm going to see if there's any, I'll go through some of the news. So, Mecole Hardman was traded to the Chiefs from the Jets. I did a short on it. It was nice. Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry for being late, Tyler. My bad.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
The people said that I was doing a great job. No one said that, but no, I have a sore throat, so I'm struggling.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
I have my cough. Look, I have my cough drops right here. It's been a mess, but I'm doing okay. We were getting through the questions. What was that? I don't know what I was talking about, but we'll continue on the questions and then we'll see if you have anything else to add about other things. So Blake liked my comments on Olave. I was saying that I'm not concerned about Olave.
No, I'm not either.
What would you buy him for? 24 first plus a player?
Well, I mean, it depends on who that player is. I mean,
well, that's true.
I mean, you're not buying. That's a very, very vague question. I mean, he's worth more to me than a 24 first, so you'd have to add something. And I don't think anyone's selling Olave for just a plain out 24 first.
No, I don't think so.
I would highly doubt that, unless it's like guaranteed 101 or guaranteed 102. Maybe someone will sell him for that, but I still doubt it. I think Olave is worth more than that. I think you're gonna have to add somebody at least of like a high second round or like late first value, which I don't know. Try to throw out a name. I'm trying to think who would be worth around that
Hollywood
value in
Brown.
the Dynasty. What's that?
Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood Brown. I think that could
Nico
make
Collins.
a move. Yeah, Collins can make the move. Yeah, Collins can get that done. Who else? Who else could get that done? I'm trying to think like off the top of my head.
Christian Kirk.
Yeah, that's a good name. Christian Kirk, you could throw in there.
Yeah.
What if you threw someone like Jerry Jeudy?
Well, I hate Jerry Jeudy, so
Yeah, I would want to get rid of Jerry Jeudy as well.
Jerry Jeudy I have ranked lower than the other players we just mentioned.
Yeah, that's good with me.
I'm
That's
not
cool with me.
interested in Jerry Jeudy.
Well, I would send him away. Like I would send him away
I'd love
for
to
a
do
lot.
that.
Yeah,
I would love to do that, but nobody wants Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, nobody wants.
No,
him.
nobody wants Jerry Jeudy. So I don't know if you're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, probably not. Debo? Would you send away Debo? Hopkins?
I think I'd send away Hopkins for sure. I'd send away Debo. Hopkins is not worth anything.
Yeah, no, Hopkins is declining.
Let's look at this one. Let's look at this one. So
yeah,
waiting for Justin Fields to return. Do I run with Geno Smith or do I grab CJ Stroud off the waiver wire? I would go with CJ Stroud. I mean, I have CJ Stroud at quarterback 9 this week against. I mean, Carolina is.
I think that's gonna be a high. I think like I have actually like I was I'm preparing my matchups to do for 4-4 football. I was looking through the matchups, talk about some players I like, players I dislike this week. I have a take in there that I think this could be the highest scoring game of the week. I really do. I mean, the Panthers. So? What's that?
You think so?
Yeah, I think that could be the highest scoring game of the week. I mean, both these defenses are not the best. Both these defenses have shown weaknesses over the last few weeks. And Bryce Young over the last 2 weeks has shown improvement. He's looked better with the football in his hands. The Panthers have put up decent points over the last 2 weeks. Actually, the 2 games they played, and now they're fresh off a bye, heading into Houston. I think, and we know Houston's offense has been rolling. I think this could actually be a reasonably high scoring game. And I think CJ Stroud's going to have a fantastic performance.
Yeah, I mean, I have him at quarterback 9. So
yeah, he's going to be good for fantasy.
Also with Tank Dell coming back, he should be better.
Yeah, with Tank Dell coming back, that's going to be nice.
It did look like the offense sputtered a little bit without Tank Dell.
Yeah, Tank Dell's a big piece.
Tank Dell is an important part of the
offense. He's a big piece.
Geno Smith against Cleveland. I know Gardner Minshew had a great game against Cleveland, but that's not the norm.
Gardner Minshew, because the thing is, you don't have any film on Gardner Minshew. It's going to be, you didn't have much film at least. You didn't have a full game, so it's kind of tough to
It's the kind of thing where, and I heard someone say this, I think it was fantasy footballers, every play when Cleveland was on defense was either a Colts touchdown or
that was the fantasy footballers. Yeah, that was Andy Holloway.
It was very strange.
I listened to that today. It was so
very
funny.
Strange. I don't know if I've ever seen a game that, first of all, that started at 1:00 and went until 4:45. It never ended. It never ended. Long, it went on forever. So I'm just saying that I do not expect the Browns to be this bad on defense for 2 straight weeks.
No, it was so funny that like I went back and found the condensed version of the game because I saw Andy Holloway say that earlier this morning. I was like, is that really true? So I took some time in my afternoon to watch the condensed version of the game, and it was just play after play after play, like no ads or anything. And it was like, that's truly how it was. It was just big plays and then interceptions and big plays, then fumbles.
Minshew looked okay though.
He looks okay. He looked fine.
I don't want to take away from him, but
I'm not expecting much against New Orleans.
Yeah,
I'm expecting bad things.
I would agree, although New Orleans had some issues.
They had
many problems last week, including their much vaunted run defense was not so vaunted.
No, it was not.
I don't know what went wrong there.
They've overall been pretty good on defense, though, but last week was a disaster.
Overall, yeah.
Overall, they've been good.
I just did this trade. How did I do? Adams, Mixon, and Devon A-Chain for Kamara, Gibbs, and Hollywood. I assume this is
redraft. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it could be Dynasty.
It could be, yeah. It could be.
If it's Dynasty, actually, if it's Dynasty, it's also kind of close.
It is, yeah. Because you have Gibbs and A-Chain, 2, pretty high value running backs, and the rest are like older veterans.
If it's redraft, I think I'll take the 3 healthy players.
I would agree. Yeah, and Kamara's actually been like
Kamara's the most valuable player in this deal in redraft. Kamara's going to be our
probably
RB1 the rest of the season.
That's probably right. Yeah, he's
like,
probably the most
I am
valuable player.
confident that there's a difference between Kamara and Mixon. Some people would say they're similar, but they're not.
No,
Kamara is still good, and Mixon isn't. So if you're still good, you're going to continue to play. If you're not, even if you have a lot of money on your contract,
as a runner, he isn't. Kamara looks bad. He doesn't look great as a runner.
Like I'm not sure that he's the problem.
The offensive line's been bad. Yeah,
he doesn't look worse than. It's not like the other running backs come in and suddenly can run.
No,
he's actually running the best behind that offense. It's just that they're all bad.
Yes,
they're all. The whole thing is bad. Whereas Joe Mixon just looks awful. So I don't know what they're going to do, but Kamara is worth so much more. And then the other players, Davante Adams. I will say I like Davante Adams, but he does scare me a little.
It's been worse in the last few weeks. The usage just hasn't been there.
There's a big problem there. I mean, it's
been quite odd. Yeah, he's
unhappy.
Yeah,
and we're gonna get to that in a second. But I would say you did pretty well in this. Would Kirk and Judy for Olave be good? Yes, it would be good.
Yeah, that wouldn't even be.
That would be amazing. I would love to do that.
Yeah, that wouldn't even be a decision. Yes, absolutely.
So let's talk about this. So we talked about Davante Adams, a player who could be on that list. We talked about Jerry Jeudy, a player who could be on that list.
I want to talk about a player who I tweeted about it earlier this week. I talked about adding Tyjae Spears or trading for Tyjae Spears in all formats, redraft, dynasty, whatever. Because now,
listen to me, you'd already have him. But
yes,
details. Go ahead.
I mean, I did like Tyjae Spears as well, but specifically, I think there's the window's closing rapidly because the Titans traded away Kevin Byard, right? They traded him away. He's gone. And trading away a veteran player with that much talent shows the Titans understand they're kind of on a downfall, right?
I think the Titans see
they kind of see it.
I think they see after this loss, another loss against the Ravens before the bye. They're 2-4. I think that they see that
it's not going to pan out.
It's not going to pan out for them.
It's not.
More than likely.
Yeah. So that means the next player that's probably going to be on the trade block for them is Derrick Henry, a veteran running back who's been a superstar in the league before. He's getting paid a lot of money right now. Trading him away would be a very viable option for them. So if those rumors start to really circulate, and if he actually does get traded, Tyjae Spears' value is going to shoot through the roof like you've never seen. There's going to be so much hype. I mean, there already is a lot. He's been already getting a ton of hype because he's looked so good with the ball in his hands so far this season. But if he has that backfield to himself, people are going to go insane. So if you can add Tyjae Spears in redraft or just quickly, sneakily trade for him in dynasty leagues before his value shoots up, that'd be pretty smart move. And if you have him already, which, I liked him coming out of that draft. Tyler must really liked him as well. If you already have him, just don't get rid of him. Don't let somebody buy him off you.
The thing is that you have to look at the teams that are bad.
Yes.
And those teams that their decision makers can survive trading everyone away. So, for example, the Bears might be 2-5, but they're Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles.
No, their GMs are not living if they trade everything away. No,
so
they don't have security.
They don't have the ability to do that.
No, trading away Justin Fields is not really an option for them for their job.
I don't see that as being realistic. But teams that could trade players away are the Cardinals.
Yes,
the Broncos.
Yep.
Oddly, the Titans, because I think that the Titans GM is new, right? The GM is new, and the coach has a lot of, for whatever. I mean, Mike Vrabel, I think, has a lot of job security.
You trust Vrabel. Yeah, Vrabel's a very trustworthy coach.
Well, also, I think that the coach is not the coach. First of all, has
coach is not the problem.
It's not the problem. No, and I also think Mike Vrabel doesn't have much influence in personnel decisions, which is part of the problem.
Not necessarily.
Which was part of the problem before.
It is, yeah.
So I will have to see, but the Titans I think are high on the list because they're
on the Brit. They're on that cliff of just dropping and collapsing and tearing it all apart. And that's going to leave Tyjae Spears with a ton of value. So I would go out and trade for him and acquire him in all fantasy leagues you can.
Oh, we always talk about these trades, and they almost never happen. Like these big
they almost
trades
never do.
They almost
very
never
rare
happen.
to see a big trade like that. It's very rare, but sometimes it goes through.
I will say, with the Vikings winning again, the Kirk Cousins trade
it's getting less likely, especially against the 49ers without Justin Jefferson.
I mean, yeah, the Vikings won, the Lions lost. I mean, it's 2 games, and there's 10 games left. So,
yeah,
that's completely out of the realm of possibility.
They're not doing that. Yeah, they're going to.
The Vikings are half a game out of a playoff spot, a wild card.
Yeah, they are.
So that's not happening. But yeah, the sellers are the Cardinals, the Panthers to a degree. It depends on what is being sold.
The problem is they have no. I can see what you're saying, but I don't know if they have the want to or the. There's no incentive to because they don't have their first round pick anymore because they gave it up.
Yeah, I would just say that
they wouldn't be like
they could get money off the cap. Like
they could, that'd be the incentive.
Is a contract that looks bad, and it still has guaranteed money on it after this year. If you eliminated that contract, you would eliminate some of that guaranteed money.
Yeah, so, that would be the only incentive though, is money because they don't have the
Miles
first
Sanders contract is bad.
Yeah, Sanders.
Bad contracts.
The disaster.
We'll have to see. The Broncos, the Titans are high on that list. And, I would say the Giants, but the Giants don't have anything that to trade away sell other than Saquon Barkley. And I don't think
Saquon's the only player that they could sell, but I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah. So we'll have to see, but it'll be interesting. I do think the one thing that I'm very confident that's going to happen is Courtland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy is going to be gone. And it's probably
Marvin Mims.
Going to be Jerry Jeudy.
I would agree. Courtland Sutton has that contract. It'd be harder to trade him.
I also think that I don't know what it is, but
there's something wrong.
There's something that is not desired with Jerry Jeudy. I don't know what the problem is, but it almost seems like personal to a degree. It's personal with the coaching staff or personal with Russell Wilson, and it seems personal. So, yeah. And then I heard the teams were calling about Treylon Burks. I have a feeling that's not going to happen. But
no, there's no way.
It would be great for his value. But
would be. Oh my goodness. Treylon, he's such a talented player. I really do still believe in him. I really believe in Treylon Burks a lot.
But you have the Rashad Bateman career path that we're heading on. And it's just
a little bit.
It just doesn't look like the storm just looks so bad.
Yeah.
But if DeAndre Hopkins were traded, that would really help.
Yep.
Puka is ridiculously good. This I know.
Dude, he's lit.
Yeah,
good.
Puka.
I honestly think he's gonna be. It's funny. I think he's gonna be undervalued next year. I actually think he's gonna be undervalued next year in redraft leagues. I think he's gonna be. I don't think people are gonna believe. I think people are gonna shoot him down in redraft leagues and try to poke holes in his game, and he's gonna get drafted. I think he's gonna get drafted too low.
I think that's a mistake, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Is there a player that's less fun to watch than Derek Carr?
Deshaun Watson.
He
has been, part of me just
very funny. I almost tweeted it after the second almost interception, and then I realized he was hurt, so I thought it would look tacky. But I almost tweeted I've never been so happy to see a player do poorly.
No, because not only because I predicted that Deshaun Watson would be terrible this year. Deshaun Watson is a player I was just nope, it's not going to work out. We're not going to see that Deshaun Watson again, at least this year, if not forever. And it's worked out. But yeah, also with all the offseason crap that happened, it's just I don't like to root for people's demise. I really don't. But the smallest part of me is he might have deserved it.
Deshaun Watson, I will say, just given what I've heard, is a very strong dynasty buy. As much as I hate it, Deshaun Watson
probably is because he's going to play. He's 100%
the
team.
So the problem is that now Deshaun Watson carries zero value. What's what I've heard? Zero value to some people, which is obviously an inaccurate valuation. He has, unfortunately, as much as I would not like it to be this way, he does have dynasty value. So I would.
Yeah, because he's going to start.
I'm not really interested in
His
having
contract is
Deshaun
too heavy.
Watson on my dynasty team, but I would poke around and see if you could pay like a second-round pick in Superflex for Deshaun Watson.
You probably.
You might as well try it.
did.
Worst case is it gets declined, right? I
I
mean,
could see a world where you can get away
nothing to
with that.
lose. I would try it because I've heard some frustrations with Deshaun Watson.
Oh yeah, he's like he's one of like the laughing. You could say like a laughing stock or the clowns of the NFL right now. People are clowning on him right now.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's bad.
I mean, I get it. They should be.
Yeah, they should be. Yeah,
he should
deserves
be.
it.
But he has. I mean, let's take a look at Deshaun Watson. We can take a look at Deshaun Watson's contract.
Yeah, his salary. He's gonna have to start. They can't bench him.
So
it was so
in
funny.
2026,
Go for it.
he has $72 million in dead cap in 2026
Oh, dead cap.
So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You can't move away from that. You're stuck.
It's
Stuck.
it's bad. Yeah, it's really bad.
Stuck.
As a post June 1 cut in 2026, they would take 63 million in dead cap.
That is
post June 1.
That is ludicrous.
Yeah. So
ludicrous.
The only way for them to get rid of him, since his contract is underwater, would be to like pay draft picks to make him go away. Like they would have to pay probably a first round pick to make him go away. Because most of Deshaun Watson's contract is guaranteed salary, not signing bonuses. So because it's guaranteed salary.
It's all guaranteed salary. Yeah, it's all guaranteed.
What it means is it can be traded. It can be traded and it goes to the new team. If it were all signing bonuses, it would stay with the old team, but it's not.
Yeah,
so
it's all salary.
It can all be traded. He can be traded, but you're going to have to give a first round pick to trade him.
I would love to see a trade like some dumb team trading and they get a first and Deshaun Watson. The Browns get nothing. That'd be so funny.
Who are the Atlanta Falcons, who are in such dire
need of a QB, they might do it.
Dire. They're in the middle of the road. They have no quarterback. If you would give them an additional first round pick to maybe use on defense to fix a problem there. And then Deshaun Watson is probably still an upgrade on Desmond Ridder.
Barely.
Desmond Ridder is
bad.
Desmond Ridder has had zero good games. At least Deshaun Watson had one good game this year. Desmond Ridder has looked good in 0 games.
No, he's looked bad.
If the Falcons could add a first round pick, and then you're only taking 3 years of this contract instead of 5, it gets to a point of like, is it worth the risk? So I'm not saying that the Browns are going to do that because trading away your quarterback and giving up an additional first round pick to do it is essentially quitting on multiple seasons. But that's the kind of deal it would take.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Either way, that means he's going to be starting somewhere. So, yeah,
wouldn't that be such a funny trade to see?
It would be so funny.
On like a graphic to see the Browns, there's just nothing there, and the other team, it's a first and Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
like, that would be so funny to me.
The other way the trade happens is there's like another distressed asset involved. Like
correct.
Derek Carr.
Oh,
I mean, this disaster of a contract is there as well. So like another, just going from one disaster to another disaster. That's the other way it happens.
Lateral motion is not going to help them at all.
Thoughts on Trey McBride with Ertz on injured reserve? Been trending up in usage before this even. With Kyler Murray, I like the idea of Trey McBride. I will say, though,
it's a really intriguing option.
He is intriguing, but I will say that I'm not sure that Trey McBride has not done much. I mean,
no.
It's all, you got to be aware of what this is. This is a projection. From last year to this year, he's barely even improved. It's a projection. It has never happened. So totally a projection.
No.
And
the only when we saw one game in his rookie year where he truly had like a great game, and
Hollywood
usage
Brown
over
is
the
the
last
one.
couple weeks.
Hollywood Brown is the one. But if I had to choose, I think is Trey McBride even ahead? Is Trey McBride even the third option? I don't know. Like Zach Ertz was, but is Trey McBride going to be? I'm not sure.
No, you can't 100%
I
say
like
so.
what I have seen from Michael Wilson a lot. He was, if you watch this week's game, he was open. Joshua Dobbs sucks, but Michael Wilson was open. Michael Wilson was open multiple times, and Joshua Dobbs missed him. Michael Wilson already has, I believe, almost as many receiving yards as Trey McBride does in his entire career in 3 times as many games. And I mean, Michael Wilson, we are averaging 49 receiving yards a game, 3 catches a game through 7 games. For a third-round rookie, that's
great.
Really good.
That's great.
Really good. Yeah.
Impressive.
It is. That would pace to what? It would pace
3
to
times
about
17, about 51 catches.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a good, it would be a good pace,
17, 500, 850 yards.
Yeah. So for a third
51
round
catches,
rookie,
850 yards.
But for a third round rookie playing with Joshua Dobbs, that's really good.
Yes, that's impressive.
So, yeah. Trey McBride is not going to have 850 yards.
No.
So
he's not.
Michael Wilson, I think, is going to be the second target. And then Rondale Moore has been involved here and there. I mean, he's, to me...
Trey McBride would have to earn himself a role over Rondale Moore. If he's just there, he's not going to be able to be great for fantasy. But if he'd have to truly take a step, which I think he would do. I think he has.
I almost don't believe these numbers, but Rondale Moore has 113 yards on 28 targets. He's averaging 4 yards a target. I mean, it's almost like unbelievable.
That is unbelievably low.
How bad that is. Whereas Michael Wilson is averaging 12.7 yards a target.
Yeah, they just give Rondale Moore those quick screens.
There's something wrong here. Rondale Moore has 28 targets and 113 receiving yards, but Michael Wilson has 27 targets and 343 receiving yards.
Yeah,
there's something wrong there.
Yeah, that's bad.
I think that once we have Kyler Murray who can deliver the ball downfield a little bit better, there's nothing wrong with Kyler Murray's arm. Kyler Murray's arm is not hurt. His arm is fine. His knee is the problem. So there's no reason why his deep ball is not going to be there. Michael Wilson is someone that I think is going under the radar because this offense has been bad. And I think that while I like Kyler
It has been
Murray,
better than expected, though.
It has such a low bar. It's been
it was a low bar.
Instead of abysmal. When Kyler Murray comes back in, I think that, you got to keep in mind, Michael Wilson has 40 less yards than Hollywood Brown on 33 less targets. Like, something's wrong here.
Yeah, dude.
Like, something's wrong. Like, this needs to be corrected immediately. So, I didn't realize the numbers were this strong. Also, I didn't realize Hollywood Brown has 60 targets.
Yeah, dude, he's been a target monster.
Yet he only has 383 yards. He's only averaging 6.4 yards a target, which is also awful.
It's also low, yeah.
But I don't think that's his fault.
No.
I think that's...
It's Dobbs.
Hollywood Brown is getting open. He's playing well.
Joshua Dobbs is not that good.
Joshua Dobbs, I think, has been exposed. And I think we've seen that now. Kyler Murray's going to come back in, and I think he's going to fix this problem. The next 2 games are going to suck. It's against Baltimore and then against Cleveland.
Yeah, no, that's not fun.
That's not so good. But after that, Atlanta, Houston, the Rams.
There you go.
So 3 beatable defenses in a row. Then not so good at the Steelers, bye week, and 49ers.
Yeah, Steelers give up a lot through the air.
And the 49ers were hit or miss this week.
Yeah, they've been. The defense has been quite inconsistent this year. There have been games
inconsistent. Where they've been a little inconsistent.
There have been games where where'd their defense go?
You can put up numbers on the 49ers even if they're getting turnovers. And then in week 16, it's the Bears. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
love that.
But I would just say that Trey McBride, I don't see Trey McBride being a tight end 1, even with Kyler Murray, let alone.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle. It is indeed an uphill battle.
This week, I have Trey McBride at tight end 20.
Yeah, I wouldn't be starting Trey McBride.
I'm thinking that's even a little too high. Like, I'm on the fence even at 20.
I think you're fine there.
But I just think it's such a tall hill to climb. Like, am I ever going to rank Trey McBride over, like, even Logan Thomas with the usage, probably not. I don't see that hill being climbed.
I know what I saw. Like I watched a lot of film on Trey McBride. I know what I saw. I remember the numbers. 1,100 yards in college for a season at tight end. It's just like he put up unbelievable numbers and looked really, really good on tape. He's an athletic beast.
I know. It's just not. It's not showing up.
Yeah, it hasn't shown up yet, which has been quite frustrating.
It's not showing up. It didn't show up last year when he got the usage. It's not showing up now in his limited.
But this is his chance. This is his chance. This is it.
Absolutely. This is his chance. And I don't want to give up on a tight end.
He's got a
Dynasty, I'm still interested. But
yes,
I'm worried that he's one of those players that's going to have that breakout at like 27 after everyone's already given up on him.
Potentially, yeah, it could be that way.
Is Gus Edwards a starter? Absolutely. We answered that already.
Yes. Yeah, he is.
For some reason, I feel like Atlanta would try to pull off a field trade. No, I think they're 4-3. I think they're going to roll with Desmond Ridder for now.
Yeah, I think they are. It's going to be bad.
I think that Atlanta is in. I mean, we've seen like Atlanta was in the Deshaun Watson market. Atlanta could be in the Kirk Cousins market. I think Atlanta could be in a lot of quarterback markets, in the future. But I don't think they're pulling off an in-season trade.
No, yeah, I think they'll be more like trade up for one of the top quarterbacks in the class kind of deals. I think that's
how are they going to do that though? That's the thing is like, how are they going to get up there?
I don't know. I don't understand how they're going to do it. The Atlanta Falcons are so confusing because they keep winning games and Desmond Ridder looks horrible and they're going to be stuck with him because the free agent class of 2024 is just not there. There's no quarterbacks that are like
Kirk Cousins is the only one.
Isn't Jared Goff also a free agent in 2024?
No.
No, he isn't. No, he's
not. And also unlike Kirk Cousins, who's already been franchise tagged twice, Jared Goff has not. So he could be franchise tagged.
Yeah.
And he would be at the current moment.
Yeah, he would be.
But he's not even a free agent. Dak is the one who's a free agent, technically.
In 2024?
I think so.
I thought his contract was long.
At some point soon. I feel like.
His contract. No,
he's not a free agent, but he is in the cap vomit year, and they have to fix it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll have to see. But I don't know. The Falcons are kind of one of those weird teams. I don't really know where they're going.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. They're a team that could be stuck for the next few years in the quarterback hole where they just don't have a guy because they keep winning games because of their defense and their elite skill position players, but they just don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
And it's just infuriating. And Arthur Smith is just the worst. I hate him so much.
I know.
I saw a hilarious meme today where it was a video of Arthur Smith running down the field to the ref calling a timeout. He was just yelling timeout, call effing timeout. And the caption was, whenever Arthur Smith realizes he has a play that's designed to go to one of his best skill position players. And it was just yelling timeout. And it was just
that's funny.
That's exactly it, man. Because he doesn't give the ball to Bijan disappeared this week because he was sick, I guess.
Was he?
And I don't know. I don't know. That was so weird. It was so weird. I mean, Bijan did say he wasn't feeling well. Bijan Robinson himself did say in a press conference he wasn't feeling well. But we'll
have to see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm in first place, but I need a running back. Got offered Kamara and Kendrick Miller for my late first thoughts. There are worse things, but I'd rather not. I'd rather not. Kendrick Miller.
I'd rather not.
Is a bust. Where was he? Jamal Williams.
Yeah, it's been bad.
I've
started to lose faith.
And Kendrick Miller played no snaps whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm losing faith quickly.
None.
Kendrick Miller.
And at the end of the day, you should be able to. Yes, I'm not necessarily expecting you to become the starter, but you should be able to challenge for some work. Make them put you on the field. No, you don't have to be the starter, but make them put you on the field. If you're this buried, it's not good. It's not good.
I'm losing faith. I'm sorry. I was a big Kendrick Miller guy. I was a huge fan. I loved his tape. His numbers were fantastic. But and he beat out a massive recruit, Zach Evans, early in his college career. I'm starting to lose faith a little bit. I'm hoping
suddenly beating out Zach Evans doesn't really look like much of an accomplishment.
What's that?
Beating out Zach Evans really doesn't look like an accomplishment anymore.
No, it's not. But I
It's
mean,
really not important.
No, it's not. But yeah, it's been
I
quite
think
frustrating as a Kendrick
I
Miller
think
fan. But
it's
I'm
time.
losing hope.
Yeah, I'm fine like waving the white flag on Kendrick Miller. I don't think he's worth much of anything.
It's fair.
You might as well try for something else if Salate first. ETN got traded for Barkley and I'd love to have Barkley and Andrews over just ETN.
Yeah, that's great.
I
mean, he was a first round pick, and he showed a lot of talent in his rookie year.
There's nothing to sell you on him. Like the talent's there.
Yeah,
if he's become so cheap, then he's worth buying.
Yeah, and he showed, even though he was injured in the games where he played, he was fully healthy. He showed some really good talent. Like he showed the ability to be a number one wide receiver in the NFL. He has that ability. He has that. He has the size. He has the frame. He has the ability to do it.
No.
He can do it.
Goff and Kirk for Olave. That's interesting. I mean, Jared Goff has gained a lot of value, obviously.
It looks like he's going to be the starter for the, like, it looks like an extension.
Yeah, for the foreseeable future. So
yeah,
this is about right. This is about right. I still don't think Jared Goff is ever going to be valued much higher than he is.
No, he is if you can sell him pretty high, it would.
Here's some news. Deshaun Watson has a strain of the subscapularis, whatever that is, within the rotator cuff, and there's a lot of problems. It sounds like many problems. I don't like to hear about problems. I don't know.
No.
I don't know what that means.
No, not fun.
It seems, it's going to cause him to miss, it could be 4 to 6 weeks. What an inconvenience.
He's going to IR.
An inconvenience. Oh, no. Another inconvenience. Oh, what? Unfortunate. We'll have to see. But
I don't get to watch.
Sounds like it could be missing. He could be missing more time. More time missed. I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore, really, at this stage.
No.
What else is there to say?
No, there's nothing else to say. He's gonna miss time, and they're gonna be backups in there. And honestly, though, it was funny. The backup looked better than Watson filling in for him.
Did he?
He looked straight up. He looked better.
PJ Walker is so bad.
He's bad.
The problem with PJ Walker is there are open players. He looks at the open player and then just moves on.
Yeah.
He moves on from the open player. He is reading his progressions, just moves on from open. Like, what are we doing? Like, Amari Cooper, wide open multiple times.
Yeah, they didn't even target Amari Cooper in the first half of the game. Like, you had nothing.
But that was the problem. He did not target Amari Cooper.
Give him the ball.
Where Amari Cooper was open. Why didn't he target Amari Cooper? So PJ Walker is not an improvement. Like, PJ Walker is not better.
No, I wouldn't say he's improvement, but he looks better.
PJ Walker's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good. And while the Browns' weapons were nice in this game where 39 points were scored, I'm very concerned. Very, very concerned, but very excited for Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, especially now with Jerome Ford.
Hunt, Pierre Strong should be added, especially in Dynasty if he's on waivers.
Yeah, he should be.
Olave, okay, I'm not concerned about Olave's arrest.
Nope.
I learned this lesson with Jordan Addison. We overreacted, I think. And that was speeding at twice the speed. He's already out. Like,
he's gone. If
you got arrested for a speeding violation in your life, it probably really wouldn't have much of an impact in your life, right?
No.
It would be, it's something you go to court, you pay your fine, and you might have to take a driving class, which is a good thing. I mean, you should not speed.
You should if you're speeding.
You should not speed. You should pay your fine. If you have to take a driving class, you should take a driving class so you don't learn that this is a problem. Now, is this going to affect his ability to play in the NFL? No. Did anyone get hurt? No. Like, there's nothing is going to happen here.
This wasn't a Henry Ruggs.
No, there's nothing happening here.
No.
Like, it's not.
It's fine. Yeah.
The reason we're hearing about it is because he's a well-known NFL player.
Yeah. Did you see what he said to the officer when he was getting?
I did, and I thought it was funny.
That was pretty good.
It was before, I don't know, funny, but
that was pretty good. I mean, he said, I
have no concerns with Chris Olave.
No.
Maybe some coaching staffs will, like, punish the player, like, by limiting the, like, I'm not thinking about that too much. Like,
no, he's gonna be just fine.
The Saints are 3-4. They need to win this game. They need Chris Olave to win. Like they don't have a choice. I will say the one thing with Chris Olave is that he needs to run all his routes with 100% effort because he didn't do that in the last game. He didn't do that.
No,
he needs to have 100% effort on every play, and that needs to be fixed.
I thought about that this past week. I went back and watched the games, and I was watching Chris Olave. I was like, "Is that his full speed?" Like there were a few times where I was like,
"Yeah, there's no way."
He looks slow.
Yeah, he's not slow. So
he's not. He's very quick.
He's not a speedster, but he's not slow.
He's not slow.
Not like Jake Bobo, who looked plenty fast.
Jake
Bobo. He looked plenty fast. He's the slowest wide receiver to ever run the 40. So just go show. DK and Aaron Jones for Eckler, good. In Dynasty, obviously. In redraft, Eckler is scary, but I think I'd take Eckler here. Because DK and Aaron Jones are just as scary, if not worse. Eckler's the one with high-end upside. I think we have to accept a new reality with DK Metcalf. We need to be and I moved him down in my Dynasty rankings because we need to accept a new reality. DK Metcalf is not a wide receiver. Not elite. It's not that DK Metcalf is not elite, but because I think he isn't that far off from being elite.
No, he's not far. But I don't think he's in that tier.
But DK Metcalf is just as elite as Devonta Smith or T. Higgins. He's just as elite as they are. The difference between DK Metcalf and those guys is that DK Metcalf now faces competition from 2 other really good players, and Geno Smith is not trustworthy. No. So because of that, DK Metcalf is someone who is going to be more of a mid wide receiver 2 in good matchups and a low end wide receiver 2 in bad ones, like this one against Cleveland. So because of that, and if this is redraft, I'm going to stick with Eckler, who has not played well, but I think that Eckler is still a top 5 running back rest of season.
Yeah, and as JSN continues to earn himself a higher target share in the offense and gets more on the field, it's only going to hurt DK Metcalf even more. The thing is, Tyler Lockett is dropping off, though. Tyler Lockett's
I wouldn't say that it's going to hurt DK Metcalf actually that much more. I think that it's just the kind of thing where DK Metcalf, if he were playing on the Chiefs, could easily be a wide receiver 1, but he's not.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, but he's not on the Chiefs.
Thoughts on Pickens so far? He's played well. He's played well.
Excellent. Man.
But I caution people with George Pickens is that this is who George Pickens is. He is a big play receiver who will never average 8 receptions a game. The volume will not
it's never going to be there.
The volume will never be there. So the volume.
If you look back at his college numbers, it wasn't there either.
It wasn't there in college. The volume's not going to come. So if the volume doesn't come, then he has to stay this efficient forever. So I have George Pickens at wide receiver 23 in Dynasty, but a lot of that's because of youth. I almost think wide receiver 23 for a season is like his ceiling. But he's so young. He's 21. He's 22.
The thing is, he just like when you watch him play, like he just is uber talented. He really is that guy, and he's someone that could just make those plays every single down. Like when you put it up to, if you have George Pickens 1-on-1, you put it up to him. Like that's just
George Pickens is never even gonna. He's not gonna. If you notice, when Deontay Johnson is out, George Pickens didn't become what Jordan Addison did.
No, he didn't.
He didn't become that. He's gonna be what he is. That's the real problem. Is Jordan Addison, players like Jordan Addison, Devonta Smith, T. Higgins to a degree, these players, when the other player is out, can vault up. They can step up.
They can step up.
Be something else, especially Devonta Smith. But
the
other ones, I would say, have an argument as well. They can step up. George Pickens can't do that. He can't do that. He is what he is. So because of that, he's in a completely different value tier. He's in a value tier of guys of a mix of like older and like he's in value tier with like DJ Moore, who like has more secure volume but is older. Someone really old like Devontae Adams. Someone older but with more upside like Deebo Samuel. Like Marquise Brown, someone with more volume but less upside. Nico Collins, someone who has some similar upside but is better in some ways but worse in other ways. So these are players that are similar. Christian Kirk, someone who's a lot safer, but has no upside, really, long term. So these are the kind of guys that George Pickens. He's not similar to like Jaxon Smith-Njigba, Jordan Addison, Puka Nacua. Those are players, Zay Flowers. Those are players who've shown an ability to, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, at least still in college, and the other ones in the NFL have shown an ability to be high volume receivers, which George Pickens is not.
He's not.
At the end of the day, it's a PPR game. You want to win with PPR. And George Pickens is someone who might be better in your brain than he is on the fantasy score sheet.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I don't like him.
No, man, some of the plays he's made this year, like watching him on film, it's just like unbelievable. Some plays he's been making, but he just doesn't get the volume consistently enough.
No, and he never will.
No, he never will.
How's it going, guys? Long time no see, Hutch. Looking good. Me. Thank you.
Thanks.
And it's going okay. My voice is not so good, but otherwise it's good. Could Pitts get moved? I really miss Patrick. I need him to read these questions.
Arthur Smith's keeping Pitts. So you can give him like 2 targets a game.
No way. Yeah. Pitts is not getting moved. The Falcons have a winning record. Not. They're currently leading a division.
Yeah.
Pitts is not getting traded. Maybe in the offseason. I could see.
Yeah, that could be a world.
I could see a complaint. Like, if Kyle Pitts is like, demands a trade, I don't know if they oblige it, but I could see him saying, like, I want to be paid more. I'm not going to get paid on my free agent contract if I'm in this offense. I want to leave. So I could see it, but in the season, no. Buy Michael Wilson? Yes. He's someone who's going under the radar.
He was like all the hype, like before the season, preseason, like in the beginning.
No, but no, he's not really all the hype. He
got a lot,
but he was in Arizona, so no one really cared.
Well, a lot of sleeper hype.
Yeah, but that's not the same thing. Like, if you can move like an aging Tyler Lockett for Michael Wilson in Dynasty, I would
do that.
Like, something like that. That's the kind of player I'd look to move. Like, could you move like Josh Palmer, who's looking like he's more productive now, for someone who's Josh Palmer is just a guy. If you're just a guy with Justin Herbert, you'll stay afloat, but he's just a guy. And also, it's important to note that the fact that Josh Palmer is producing and Quentin Johnston is not is a commentary on Quentin Johnston, not Josh Palmer.
No, for real.
Quentin Johnston is so bad.
Quentin Johnston
not that Josh Palmer is really good. But it is important to note that. Michael Wilson is a buy, though. I listed a couple ways you could go about that. And then someone else like Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs is just a guy. Like, I'm not impressed with.
He's
Romeo
a guy.
Doubs.
Yeah, he's fine.
Michael Wilson to me has a lot more upside. To answer this question, I'm going to say no and no. No concerns for Chris Olave getting in trouble. He's already out of jail. I'm not concerned. Should I bench Olave for Josh Downs? No.
Absolutely not. No.
I like Josh Downs, but no. We're never benching Chris Olave. He's one of those players that's like, I will ride Chris Olave into the ground. If Chris Olave is active, he's on that level of, if he's active, I'm playing him.
Yep, absolutely.
Bijan was only sick because he looked at Arthur Smith's playbook. I would be very sick if I looked in there, but I will say, while Bijan Robinson might not have been getting the workload that we want, he was averaging 18.5 touches per game before this week. So he is not the one suffering. And he's getting a lot of receiving work, probably more on this team than he would have gotten on others. So
dude, the receiving
I'm not
work
sure that Bijan Robinson is the one who has a problem with Arthur Smith's playbook.
No.
Like, Bijan Robinson has been fine. Has it been what we wanted? No, but it was one of those things where, like, was this player ever going to live up to what we wanted?
No, probably not.
Like, he had 26 catches in the 6 previous games. So, that's good for running back.
Yeah.
Same theory could be applied to Will Levis, who couldn't even beat out Malik Willis. So, I think that Ryan Tannehill is going to be out this week. So, who's going to start?
I think it's going to be Willis. I've seen reports saying it's going to be both quarterbacks playing, which I don't believe for a second. I think it's Malik Willis. If Will Levis was going to get on the field, he would have done it already. It's as simple as that.
I do think that I don't even know. Who cares? You can't play either one of them.
No, you can't play either one. No.
We just were discussing Bijan Robinson and thoughts on the investigation. Well, I'm going to look into it. And we'll have to see. It does. It's a big violation. a big violation by the Falcons reporting staff. You have to report new injuries. For the if we're gonna have the NFL, we're gonna put ourselves in the in league with all the gambling situation. You gotta be honest, otherwise people could take advantage of this inside information. You gotta publish it.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
Playing field, you can't have something like this happen. This is a big violation. If someone wanted to had inside information, they could bet on the Bijan Robinson under. Can't have that. That can't have that. That would be a big problem. So I will say it is a big problem, and it's something they're going to have to look into. But it's not really relevant to fantasy football, but they do need to look into that. Full PPR, Mostert, ETN, JT, and Breece Hall, bench 1. So for me, I have Breece Hall at running back 6. He's never benching him.
Yep, never bench him.
I would be between ETN, I have at running back 2. So I'm not benching him.
Yeah, you play ETN.
And Taylor and Mostert to me are back-to-back. I have Mostert at 14 and Taylor at 15, so I guess I would bench Taylor. New Orleans is not my favorite matchup, although neither is New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans is not. Yeah, New Orleans run defense. I mean, they were bad last week, but New Orleans run defense on the season.
I do like that Raheem Mostert kept the lead role. Neither Wilson nor Ahmed did anything.
No, yeah, it was Mostert.
I think I would bench Taylor. But
I would as well, which is something I never thought I'd say for a while.
Yeah, but I do have last week we evened up on the touches, and this week I think that I have Taylor and Moss far apart. I think Taylor at RB15 and Moss at RB30.
Yeah, Taylor is slowly but surely getting a little bit more involved every single week.
I think this is the week where Taylor becomes the clear lead.
He could be, yeah.
But I still think it'll be somewhat of a split, so I'll go with the other three.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Players don't get suspended for this kind of thing.
No, they don't.
They just don't. The NFL just doesn't care. The NFL cares about things that make them look bad. And they just don't. Someone speeding really just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt their PR. Everything that the NFL does, as someone who's talked to their representatives on a couple of different occasions, everything they do is all about their PR. That's all that matters. And this is just not super important to them. So, yes, the video is hilarious. I suggest everyone go watch it. Go watch it for yourself. It's
good.
Funny. It's funny.
So
in kind of a dark comedy kind of way.
And the memes that have been made out of it.
Yeah. What do you think of Aaron Jones' rest of season? We'll probably get to the bottom of the chat and then wrap up the show because my voice is pretty much shot.
All right. Yeah, sure.
What do I think of Aaron Jones' rest of season? I don't like him. I have no confidence in Aaron Jones anymore.
It's tough, man.
How can you?
No, yeah, it's tough too.
He's not getting the work. I mean, and now we're having a lingering injury. I mean, if he were 22, I would be like, it's going to be fine, but he's not. I don't trust him anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, in the last 3 games he's played, he's had 9, 5, and 8 carries. And those are the 3 games he's played this year. He played game 1, then was inactive for 2 games, then played week 4, then missed another game. And then after the bye week, still came back with 8 touches. He's done nothing all year. Nothing at all. He has 94 yards this season.
Yeah, it's been quite frustrating for him. I mean, the offense, Jordan Love just looks bad. He made the Denver Broncos defense look great.
Yeah.
He made the Broncos defense look good. He was terrible.
It's not going to look good this week.
For the Broncos?
Playing the Chiefs. It's not going to look good.
Yeah, they played the Chiefs.
It's not going to look so good.
I couldn't tell who you were talking about. I didn't remember the Broncos.
Their defense is terrible.
They're coached.
But
oh yeah,
I have gotten to the point where I can no longer just put Aaron Jones in and say it's Aaron Jones. He's going to be good. I need to see Aaron Jones actually get the work before I rank him as someone who gets the work. He needs to actually do it. Otherwise, I'm not going to believe it. I have Aaron Jones this week at running back 22. So that's saying that I think he's going to be in a committee and rely on catches. He's had more receiving yards this year than rushing yards. Someone who's going to rely on catches for his fantasy value.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
And I do think versus Minnesota, they could be playing from behind. So I do think there's an opportunity for the game script to favor him, but I'm not relying on Aaron Jones. We're way past the point where he's an RB1 or even a high-end RB2. He's RB22 for me, and if he doesn't perform this week, he's not going to be inside the top 24.
Yeah, totally fair.
Who's better rest of season, Kincaid or Ferguson? With Dawson Knox hurting, it's Kincaid by a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Kincaid's involvement last week was fantastic.
Yes, it was fantastic, but
It's great to see.
without Knox, it's going to be even better. I have Kincaid this week at tight end 9. It feels low, but the top 8 is just so far above. It's just hard to get him in there, but
yes,
I have him at 9, and it feels like that could be a ranking where I get burned, as in being too low.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Kincaid is a fantastic play. And who did the Bills get this week? I remember
it's Tampa Bay on Thursday Night Football. It's really not exciting in any way.
It's a weird game, yeah.
I'll still play him. Jake Ferguson this week, I have a tight end 13. I don't hate him rest of season. I do think he's going to be the starter for the rest of the year, but
yeah,
I just think that Michael Gallup has started to look a little bit better. And I think that
Gallup, man,
he's going to be the wide receiver 2, and then Brandon Cooks is still mixing in. Jake Ferguson is like just okay.
He gets the leftovers.
Yeah, he gets the leftovers. But this week, I'm fine playing him. There's a lot of tight ends who are hurt or hurting. Like Luke Musgrave is hurt. Gerald Everett is hurting. So Zach Ertz is now gone. Pat Freiermuth is gone.
Yep.
Do I think the 49ers miss Debo? Yes. Debo is an explosive player and a very important part of their offense. Absolutely.
Absolutely, they do.
In an ideal world, the 49ers would use George Kittle mostly as a blocker. Brandon Ayuk is their wide receiver 1. Debo is their gadget player, and Christian McCaffrey is their workhorse. In an ideal world,
yes,
I think that's what they want. When Debo's out, George Kittle has to serve more as a receiver. You notice that Christian McCaffrey's rushing efficiency was not the same because George Kittle was serving more as a receiver. And, Debo Samuel's also a good blocker. He's very big. I mean, it gives an advantage on the outside that Juwan Jennings does not provide. Yep. Absolutely, they miss Debo. 100%. With that being said, Debo's not going to play this week. He's going to be back week 10 at the earliest. So with Debo out, Brock Purdy, you can play him against Cincinnati, but I don't feel like I have to. I have Brock Purdy at quarterback 12. Quarterback's brutal this week. There are a lot of bad matchups from starters that I would want to play, like Matthew Stafford is at Dallas. That one it's scary to look at him.
Yeah, no.
So I do still have Brock Purdy at 12, but I'm not super excited.
Yeah, no, that's not a fun one.
Different league, Josh Downs or Michael Thomas. This week, I'll go with Josh Downs. And probably for all weeks.
The matchup's not fun, but
Michael Thomas, I'm just not interested. I'm not interested in Michael Thomas.
I'm not either. Yeah, no. Yeah. I'd have to agree with Downs.
Unless Chris Olave doesn't play.
Yeah, then that's a whole different story. But yeah, it would have to be Downs.
I'm the only one who liked the Bijan disappearing. I mean, I have no Bijan, so it didn't really affect me. But I
didn't get too much Bijan either, unfortunately, in redraft this year. I didn't get too much of him.
Josh Downs or Zay Flowers? Zay Flowers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Zay Flowers is someone that I think is. I have him at wide receiver 13 this week. It's Arizona. Zay Flowers was playing every snap. Arizona. While the game was contested, Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews basically played every snap, and everyone else rotated. But while the game was in contest, those two played every snap. They were
Flowers
the primary
and
weapons.
Here above they're in their own world above the rest of the receivers. It's kind of like now how Hollywood Brown was for that year in Baltimore, where him and Andrews were the only two, and it was everybody else.
That's what it feels like. Yeah.
That's what it is now.
Arizona is such an easy, strong matchup.
So great. Oh, it's such a great matchup.
Everyone have Zay Flowers way higher.
And I love seeing their offense truly dominate this week against the Lions. A really brutal defense. It was great to see. I'm hoping they keep that going with the new OC and everything. Hopefully they start getting things clicking.
Yeah, I talked about that on the 5 takeaways.
It looks great. Lamar especially looks really impressive.
You look good as a passer.
Yeah, it looks impressive.
Michael Wilson in the third for MT. Third's on the wrong side. Michael Wilson's worth more than MT.
Yep. Absolutely agree.
Ferguson or Kyle Pitts. This week, Tennessee is a pass funnel defense, so I'm going to go with Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I would agree.
Pass funnel for sure. So Kyle Pitts. Jake Ferguson's kind of fading. Kyle Pitts is coming on a little bit. So Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
I have Kyle Pitts at 10 and Jake Ferguson at 13.
That behind the back catch.
I did see that.
Catch, that was unbelievable.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts is still good.
He's such a good player.
Would you trade Russ and Shaheed for Burrow and redraft? Yeah. Shaheed.
Yeah.
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 I'll take Burrow.
Yeah.
Any news on James Conner? No. Actually, I haven't heard anything on James Conner. Will he be
Nothing.
back this season? I'm going to assume yes, but
Yeah, he will.
that's just an assumption.
He'll come
I
back.
have no idea how long he's going to be out. The IR just meant that he was out minimum of 4 weeks. I don't know if it's going to be 5 weeks, I don't know, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. I have no idea how long it's going to take him to come back. It was not stated at the time. So
there's just
I don't know, but I will say, given how the other running backs have looked, Emari, Demercado,
bring him back.
Keontae Ingram,
As soon as they
and
can.
Damian Williams have all looked. So when James Conner comes back in, he'll be the starter, and I'll rank him as the starter, no matter how well Emari, Demercado looks, and it hasn't been so good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I just want to remind everyone, if you're here, to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so you can be notified about the future content and all that. If you like this kind of thing, patreon.com/fantasy advice to get more of my advice. Every Monday, I'm dropping a 5 takeaways video. You can view the current one on the channel. Every Friday, I'm doing a video with 1 must start and 1 must sit player at every position. Sometimes I'll do shorts. And then next week, we're probably going to have something a little different on Tuesday. I might do something in conjunction with the trade deadline, move the show up a little bit earlier. I'm going out for Halloween. So
yeah, I sadly don't think I'll be here for next week's show.
Yeah.
I'll be out.
Well, yeah, the show is going to be significantly earlier in the day. So just look for that next Tuesday. I don't know exactly. I think I'm going to see if I can get Patrick, because, he had his baby, so he's actually off from work. So I'm going to see if I can coordinate something with him during the day, but it'll probably be around 2 to 3 Eastern ish next week's show. But don't worry, I'll get the StreamYard up for that on Monday, so you have advance notice for when that show is going to be. So look for my start sit video on Friday. Look for any shorts throughout the week, and then 5 takeaways next Monday, and then midday special Tuesday live show. It'll either be me alone or potentially me with Patrick. And then the following week, we'll be back to the regular time. It's just a 1 week thing. I do thank everyone for watching, especially everyone who was bearing with me at the beginning of the show when I was by myself. It's all good. And I appreciate this. My voice is it's a little shaky. I'm doing okay, but little shaky on the voice. So I tried to power through it. But yeah, appreciate the audience. Appreciate everyone on Twitter, X. Appreciate all my patrons, and I will see you all later. Peace out.